Hey, okay, well, this was the semester that went online. This is the end of semester info. I've got info in this video for every class. I've included sketches of this info in the email in which you found this very link. But let me go over everything you need to know for my class for the next 8 days. Hey, 8 days from now, you never have to think about our time together again. 1 week from today, Monday, May 4th, is when everything is due. So, let's talk first of all about videos. If you're in my philosophical inquiry classes or my theology and science classes, I have asked you for a video project. Philosophy of religion, I did not ask for this. Philosophy of religion, by the way, all you have is the final paper. I've mentioned that. Okay, some of you have technology issues. I understand. I really do. Therefore, if you want, you can replace the video project with a short research paper. Warning! Warning! When it comes to writing, as I'm about to tell you in a moment, I get pretty strict. People are often unhappy with how I grade writing assignments. I mean, a video I'll either say you did a good job, A minus, or you half-assed it, C minus, right? The writing assignments I'm much more particular about. But if you want to take that risk and do a short research paper in lieu of the video project, I'm fine with it. What you have to do is, okay, if you're in philosophical inquiry, I'm just talking to you philosophical inquiry students right now. Whatever the topic of the book was that I assigned you, look it up on either the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy or the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Read those articles as well as you can and write me a research paper of 1,000 to 1,200 words. If you want to do the video, get it to me either however you can. If you can somehow send it an email, send it an email, post it to a website, post it to a blog, post it to YouTube. I've got Twitter, I've got Facebook, you can post it there if you want. Lots of ways you can get the videos up online for me to see them. But if you can't do a video, do a short research paper instead. Theology and science students, same thing. You can write an extra paper of 1,000 to 1,200 words. Just tell me what you were going to tell me in your video. That you too can do a video, get it to me however you can. Okay, hopefully this clears up what I want for the videos. For the videos, I just want you to talk about the major themes in the book or chapter. By the way, if you're in theology and science, you can do any chapter from that book except the one about extraterrestrials, because I'm going to do a blog post about that here in a day or two. It'll be your last lecture for this semester. Oh, are some of you jealous that the theology and science students get to study space aliens with me? Hey, take another class from me. Maybe we'll talk about space aliens someday. It's been a fun semester. Okay, next. Faculty evaluations, okay? I want you to do your faculty evaluations. Now, if you've taken a class with me before, you know that I normally give a speech about how important faculty evaluations are. Well, this semester is weird. The university's passed a resolution that this semester's evaluations cannot be held against anyone when it comes to promotion and tenure decisions. For much the same reason that we're offering you the chance to go credit, no credit for any of your classes, right? Things are so weird right now. We'd rather see everyone come off better. I still think you should do evaluations. If you have a professor who's made life harder for you, you might note that. Gently point it out. Please do an evaluation for me in our class. They're due, I think, at the end of this week, actually. Please do an evaluation for our class. You can talk about things that happened in the classroom back when we were all still together and when we were all still friends. There is a chance that in the fall we'll be online. I think most likely in the fall we'll be doing some weird hybrid thing where we're mostly in the classroom, but sometimes we're not. It's going to be there's a good chance I'll still have to use Zoom with some students or some groups of students come fall. Some classes might be all online. We're hoping to get campus reopened, I'll tell you that much. That said, once we went online, if there's things I did well that you'd like to see me keep doing in an online format, say so. If there's things I've totally fumbled up, bungled up, jumbled up, say so I can improve, okay? I once got a comment from a student that was something like, this class was at 9 a.m. and now I hate Kovac. That's not helpful. Don't do that. Try to be constructive, okay? My higher-ups do read these things. These things do matter for me as I continue to look for stable, permanent employment. Who knows what's happening after August of 2021? The economy in free fall. So be conscientious about the evaluations, okay? Now, let's talk about writing. My writing assignments have often been a thorn in students' sides. It's expected that a C+ is the average. That's how LMU defines average, C+. So what I've typically done is I've gone in, here's how I grade a paper. I pick up your paper, I assume I'm going to give it a C+. And then if you get me mad, if I find myself getting really angry as I read your paper, I start lowering the grade to C, C-. Oh, and if you really, I've given D's on papers. F's? Only if you plagiarize. I'll come back to that in a moment. So I start with a C+, but then if you make me happy, I say, hey, that's a cool idea. That's very clearly written. That's when I start going B, B+, A-, and even A. A. So, this semester, things are different. I'm not going to start with a C+. I'm going to start with a B-. I know that still sounds so mean. I'm such an awful person, I know. I'm going to start with a B. I'm going to pick up your paper. I'm going to say, this is a B- paper. I'm going to start reading. And what kinds of things make me mad? Well, the easiest way to make me angry is if I don't know what your thesis is, if I don't know the thing you're trying to convince me of, or if I don't know what your argument is, if I can't figure out why you're telling me to believe what you want me to believe. And by the way, that's all your paper has to be. It has to be a thesis and an argument. Avoid at all costs. Avoid big, stupid opening sentences. Oh, this makes everyone angry. When you start a paper with, since the dawn of time, philosophers have debated the distinction between theistic personalism and classical theism. Shut up! That wasted my time. Don't do that. No, start with this. In this paper, I am going to argue that classical theism has two main advantages over theistic personalism. Advantage number 1, advantage number 2. Then what you might do is, just so you're... By the way, write in such a way that I'm an idiot. Assume I don't know anything about philosophy, or very little. Write as if it was your parents reading your... In fact, hey, you're all at home. Have your parents read your paper. Ask them if they understand it. This is honest to God. This is the advice I got on the first day of graduate school at Fordham. I went into the philosophy orientation room with my cohort of new PhD students, and the faculty just told us, here's how you write philosophy. You write so your parents can understand it. So, you've made your thesis. Now you might want a paragraph explaining the distinction between theistic personalism and classical theism. That would make things so clear. Put it in words I understand. Then, tell me the argument. Your next paragraph might be, here's advantage number 1. classical theism has over theistic personalism. Here's advantage number 2. You know, at the freshman level, that's a beautiful paper. That's a beautiful paper. Upper class level, if you really wanted to clinch the A, I would expect maybe that you consider in a final paragraph, here's an objection someone might raise, and then say how you would respond to that objection. All along, you're trying to convince me that you're right. And here's how philosophers, we're awful people, philosophers and theologians, when I read a paper, I find the thesis, and then I say, I'm gonna not believe you. Just for the hour that I'm with your paper, I'm gonna show you just how wrong you are. So, you have to have an argument to put me back in my place and show me you're right. That's what the paper is. So, the easiest way to get me mad is to not have a clear thesis, to not have a clear argument. And be clear. Be clear. Here's a mistake people make. If you don't know what a word means, if you're not sure what a word means, don't use it. Do you know what the word ideology means? I'll tell you this, it's not synonymous with the word idea. It's not synonymous with the word ideal. It's not even synonymous with the word theory. Students, last semester, I hope you don't mind if I'm going to briefly make fun of some of your friends. Maybe even your friends who told you to take my class. They were using ideology. I don't know where they picked this up. Ideology was like in every other line, and I don't think one student last semester used the word ideology correctly. I must have read that word 100 times last semester. Okay, if you don't know what a word means, don't use it. Be concise. Remember, I mean, if I'm reading your paper and you're giving me information I don't need, if you're writing sentences that don't need to be there, that's time I could be drinking. Why would you do that to me? Easy way to be concise? Avoid adverbs. Adverbs. Remember you've heard of that guy Stephen King, the horror writer? You know what he said about adverbs in his book on writing? He said, "The road to hell is paved with adverbs," and I couldn't agree more. Don't use adverbs. Those ugly words that end in ly. Try to avoid them. Try to avoid them. A good way to always see if you can reduce a sentence to subject, verb, object. Aquinas is a proponent of classical theism. Look how simple that sentence is. Classical theism is a philosophical approach to God that emphasizes the notion of God as creator. Notice how just very simple and direct. I like that. I like that. Oh, and by the way, just in general, if you want to be a good writer, start learning to think in terms of paragraphs. Think in terms of paragraphs. How many paragraphs is your paper going to have? What's this paragraph about? This is a common comment I make on students' papers. I'm reading, there's a bunch of sentences, one sentence after another, and then randomly an indent and another group of random sentences. I want to know what the paragraph is about. Can you do that for me? Can you do that? Can you check your own work? Revise your own work. And look at your paragraphs and say, what is this paragraph about? And if you can tell me what that paragraph is about, if you can say to yourself that, I will be so happy, I will be so, the grades will be so high. I mean, my chair, I want to see my chair call me into his office in September and say, Kovac, you told me your grades were going to be too high this semester, but they're even high. I mean, this is absurd, Kovac. How could you give grades? Even during quarantine, you grade. And I'm going to say, Professor Nimianu, allow me to show you my students' papers. Every paragraph has a topic sentence, and I can tell you what the paragraph is about. And he'll say, okay, now I see why you gave so many great grades. See, this is very easy to become a good writer like this. Um, None of your papers require any secondary sources. You can use them if you'd like. Warning. If you look at anything, especially if you look at anything on the internet, here's, by the way, especially for philosophical inquiry students, but all of you really, just turn the internet off when you write these papers. You're gonna get yourself in trouble if you're looking at a website. You're just gonna get yourself in trouble. I will know. I will find out. I can see it. And am I gonna call you into my office? I can't. I am gonna be ruthless when I suspect plagiarism. As soon as I suspect it, I'm gonna write a big F at the top of the paper. Then I'm gonna wreck your final grade too. See, this is about as mean as I'm gonna get with you. Okay? You plagiarize, I will mess you up. I will mess your grade up. Okay? Don't look at the internet. If you accidentally look at something, cite it. Hey, it's okay. Maybe your eyes were wandering. You went to some website to help you understand Descartes. Well, just give me a footnote. Give me a parenthetical citation. I don't care how you cite it. I don't care what citation format you use. Just make sure that anything you looked at, you tell me where you got any idea from. I will know if an idea isn't yours. I will know if you got an idea from a website. Look, every philosopher has their own interpretation of texts, right? I've been teaching my interpretation. Even my best students, I don't think that you've studied enough philosophy to realize nuances and interpretations. And I'll be able to tell if you were looking at Gervasie's interpretation of Descartes, right? I'll know if you were looking at the Norman Kemp Smith interpretation of Descartes, right? I will be able to see it easily, and I will not tolerate it, right? Look, if you're having trouble understanding something, give me a call, send me an email. We'll set up a Zoom meeting. That's fine. We can go over something again if you'd like. That's what I'm here for. What do you think I'm doing with my time? I'm grading quizzes and I'm helping you write your final papers. I've set aside 45 minutes a day this week to read Wittgenstein. That's all the research I'm able to do right now. My life is just too much in shambles to do further research right now. I'm just trying to get some clarity on Wittgenstein. You just have to get clarity on the topic of your paper. Don't plagiarize. Let me help you. Let me help you. You have a lot of time to write this week. If you want examples of clear writing, I think Brian Davis is a very clear writer. If you're in philosophy of religion, you have his book. I think I'm a clear writer. I've been told. It's the most common comment I get on my writing. Journal editors will tell me, we're not going to publish your article because it's not original. However, it is very clear. We hope you can find something original to say. At my dissertation defense, you can find my dissertation online. Look at that if you want examples of clear writing. Chapter 2 was pretty technical. Look up my article in the journal Dialogue. I published an article called Overall and Aquinas on Miracles. I think that's probably the clearest thing that I've ever written. At least that's in publication right now. Be clear. Don't make me angry by lacking clarity. Write in complete sentences. Okay. Is there anything else I need to tell you? This is it. This is it. We're almost done. You're almost across the finish line. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'm sorry I didn't use Brightspace. I know that upsets some of you, but it's for my own emotional and spiritual health that I won't use Brightspace. Okay. May 4th. May the 4th be with you, and your assignments with me.